Hey minions, welcome to Crank It Up. I'm Jim Price, and on this episode of King of the Hill, I want to talk about the Pharaoh of the ancient Egyptians. The ancient Egyptians were voted in by the fans, and I wouldn't say that I'm a big fan of Egyptian theming, Anubis, or even the Ankh symbol, so I guess it's okay that this faction made it in. Not gonna lie, if I didn't get that Anubis character from King of Tokyo, someone was going to pay. To understand the Pharaoh's value, you need to understand the new burying mechanic introduced in Oops. There are two parts to this mechanic, burying and unburying. Primarily, burying is a phase 2 ability activated by either a card or a base. It lets you place a card from your hand face down on that base. A buried card is a card rather than a minion or action, even if you knew exactly what it was before it was buried. There are some cards that bury themselves that would make this possible. Only effects that can target cards can target buried cards. Uncovering is the counterpart to burying, and it primarily occurs in Phase 1, although abilities can activate it accordingly. At the start of a player's turn, or when a card allows, the controller of the buried card may uncover one of their buried cards and play it as if they were playing it from the hand. To some, this may seem like delayed satisfaction, but it is extremely powerful, and the Pharaoh makes it even stronger. Pharaoh is exactly my kind of king minion, an engine minion who provides value both globally and in breaking his active base. The Pharaoh has the ongoing ability to draw a card after a different buried card is uncovered. This can happen at any time on any turn and potentially multiple times per turn. While players only get one free uncovering, the ancient Egyptians have many means to activate this ability. The Pharaoh can stay out on a base drawing cards at least once a turn. Best of all, before the Pharaoh's base scores, he may uncover a card himself. In my Sheriff video, I mentioned how initiating a last-minute duel can be dangerous because it gives both players a chance to play an action. The Pharaoh doesn't have that risk and functions even more like a mole, but a better one that also has engine qualities. Granted, you need a buried card on the base, but that should not be difficult. Pyramids has a base ability that can allow you to freely bury a card. Many of the ancient Egyptian actions allow you to bury themselves. Note that by rule, uncovered cards do not immediately rebury themselves, otherwise they would never work. Additionally, the pyramid engineers can bury a card at their current base as a talent, so it's fairly easy for the Pharaoh to get a buried card, and you have plenty incentive to bury cards, even to uncover them immediately the next turn. Is this a gimmick? No, it is not. Burying is extremely powerful because it does a number of things. First, it's a way of getting extra plays, particularly when it matters most. Second, it does not add to power creep. When I play a minion on a base, I'm giving my opponent's power to help them close the base on their turn. But if I decide when that minion gets uncovered, without actually using my regular plays, I'm controlling the power creep. Third, burying cards is an extremely safe way to protect your cards, because there are very few ways to deal with them. Like Titans, cards that affect cards can target buried cards, but not much else. Into the Time Slip will be very relevant, as well as similar cards. There is one Viking action, Ransack, that explicitly targets buried cards, and there may be more in the future, but they are pretty safe from Viking raids. To protect your best cards from Take the Shinies or Probe, bury them, and the Pharaoh will bring them back when it matters. The Pharaoh has a lot of ways to swing a base. In addition to minions, which obviously help, the Egyptians have some great actions to be played as specials. You can decrement power with Ancient Curse, perhaps moving a minion into Megalodon range. You can increase your own minion's power with Blessing of Anubis. If there is a single low-powered minion, Tomb Trap can knock off a player trying to get a few easy points. Additionally, the threat of Tomb Trap, a card that buries itself and therefore might be known, may force your opponents to overcommit in minions to avoid it, which is always good. There is even a great bluff card, You Can Take It With You, that, if previously unseen, makes opponents think that you have extra investment on a base, forcing them to overpay when you don't have to. As you can see, the Pharaoh can go in two different directions based on whether or not you want players to know what is buried there. There are so many great combinations with this, but I have to limit the scope to Pharaoh and ones that particularly stand out. Burying is a versatile mechanic, and I encourage you to experiment. Here are some of my favorite examples with the Pharaoh. As far as minions go, the Pharaoh is great at uncovering a spare mummy who can be reburied on the next base. Note that this is not immediate and therefore allowed by rule. You'll want to target minions that will either have special or on-play abilities, as talents will be meaningless. To honor Anubis, I highly recommend Egyptian werewolves. The Howler makes for a great Pharaoh target, as the Howler is played that turn, not the turn it was buried. If you herd many of your sheep onto a single base to break it, including your black sheep, you can uncover a flock and send away all your black sheep to another base, hopefully breaking that base as well. Using in-sheep's clothing properly can even herd an additional minion, perhaps Little Bo Peep, which was used to bring everyone together. Because the Pharaoh can uncover any card, he is actually better than a mole, since he has the flexibility to play either an action or a minion. I really like the surprise factor here. Imagine playing with pirates and having your uncovered card be a powder keg. You can blow up your buccaneer, moving it to a new base while blowing up hopefully everyone else but your Pharaoh. This would allow you to win a base with just your Pharaoh while leaving your buccaneer alive. What was a Phase 2 stall card is now a Phase 3 power card. I really love the idea of last-minute movement because it can do so much. If you watch Stargate, try Star Roamer Egyptians. Hyperspeed 10 is a great last-minute card to play to move everyone onto Winter Squashed. You can deliberately lose badly on the base, then move them all to a ninja-style base, one of which is Winter Squashed and is in the same set as the Star Roamers. You can even play Teleport Overflow to get your Pharaoh back to your hand and put other minions back in his place. If you use the Pharaoh's card draw to properly establish the Star Roamer engine, Pharaoh can simply move to another base and continue to draw the cards that the Star Roamers so desperately need. It's important to remember that the Pharaoh special happens before any cards you play from your hand. In the aforementioned sheep combo, you can use Pharaoh to uncover Blessing of Anubis to give all your minions on that base 2 power before using Lost Knowledge to uncover the flock and send all your minions elsewhere. The flock won't have the 2 power, but everyone else will. I have so much fun with this faction, easily my favorite in the set, that I'm deliberately cutting the examples short. There are too many awesome combos and I need to save some for future videos. But I want to stress this point. The Pharaoh is not just a last-minute play an extra card, it also provides great card draw, an ability that is only bound by the number of cards you can uncover on a turn. With the Egyptian bases, you should be drawing at least 1 card per turn. With just a little setup, the Pharaoh can provide a devastating effect and still give you a meaningful bonus with his card draw. This is exactly what I want in my King Minion. What do you think of the bury mechanic? Let me know in the comments. That's it for this week. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Let's shut it down.